Yeah, let's go, let's go. One sec. Welcome back to EMGM Sports. It's me, your boy Enzo. I'm back again today. I've got my boy Zach Phee with me. He's coming in. He's gonna come in a minute. Yeah. So while Zach is still doing whatever he's doing, yeah. Welcome to the last run episode. This is it's an idea that me and Zach came up with. We're gonna link up. Together. We're gonna link. What am I saying? I'm gonna link up with Zach. Once in a while, we're gonna come together, talk boxing, talk about some of the events that's happening around boxing. What's been going on. We catch up a bit. Zach obviously is a pro boxer. He's undefeated, 5-0. So he'll be able to give some great um, inside knowledge. He'll be sharing some of his expertise with us in terms of boxing and yeah, man, everything surrounding that. But Zach, yeah, while you was gone, yeah, just letting the audience know what we're all about, what we're coming together for. The last round podcast that me and Zach are gonna be hosting. Obviously, the whole idea of this podcast is we're gonna be bringing other people in as well. Do you know what I mean? Me and Zach obviously we're linking up, talking boxing, but Camille was meant to be here. For someone who complained that he hasn't been on any videos, he didn't even want to be. He left. He went home. It's Friday today, so I guess he's got to be somewhere, probably cinema or whatever. Who knows? But do you want to tell them what happened yesterday? Actually,
So yesterday, it was 9 o'clock. We started recording. Didn't finish till 10, and then somebody, not mentioning any names, forgot to plug in the mic.
Oh man!
So we've got to redo it today, but it's all good because it will produce better content for you today.
That's what I said. That was crazy. I literally go home and I didn't plug the receiver onto the camera, so that kind of messed us up. But you know what? Things happen for a reason. Do you know what I mean? I reckon today's content is gonna be even better than last night's one. But yeah, let's get into it, Zach. What you been up to, bro? What you been up to today, man? What
Not
you been
much,
doing?
really, not much.
Yeah.
Obviously, waiting for my injury to heal up a bit. So I'm just letting that heal. Still training other people, train
One-to-ones and all
yeah,
that.
one-to-ones and that. Trained one of our little amateurs this morning.
Yeah.
And, just getting by for now, and then I'll be back training soon and be back fighting soon.
Nice. By the way, man, listen, if you're in a Kent area, not even Kent, wherever you are in the UK, man, if you want,
London.
preferably Kent, but if you're a boxer, amateur, pro, whatever, and you want to get some one-to-ones done, Zach's here. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man, just shout him. I'll leave his all his details, his Insta, YouTube, everything, all his socials. The link is gonna be in the description, so definitely check that out. But anyway, let's get into this. Zach, last weekend, the big card in Riyadh, we had Beterbiev versus Bivol, two of the best light heavyweights in the world. Perhaps even of all time, they're up there in it, top 5, whatever. Wherever you want to put these guys, Roy Jones, whatever, these guys are absolutely elite. And we was expecting a crazy fight. Do you know what I mean? A fight of small margins, and we had a chat about it. We done the fight breakdown, me, you, and Camille, and that's exactly what we got in it.
Yeah.
Small margin type of fight. Everyone's banging on about it. No one knows how to score it. Some people are saying, oh, Bivol won. Some people saying Beterbiev won, which is a good thing for us, the viewers. That means that we really had the best going against the best and producing their best performance. But first of all, how did you see that fight going, man? And then I'll tell you how I scored it.
So let me just get out my notes.
Yeah.
I had the fight a 114 even draw.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And you could make an argument for up to 116, 112 Beterbiev, Some of the rounds that I gave to Bivol, I felt could have gone the other way. It's really, really dependent on how you score a shot and whether partially defended shots count or whether only shots not obstructed by the gloves count,
Yeah.
Bivol was landing very, very clean shots when he was landing. And that's how the CompuBox numbers got the way they did. I see you putting that up on the screen.
Yeah, I've got the numbers, yeah.
But But yeah, I mean, a lot of Beterbievs looked like they partially landed, but whether it partially landed or not, it's still I believe it's still landing, but that obviously skewed numbers a little bit. So it kind of depends whether you're watching just for clean shots or
Yeah,
you're watching to see the partially defended shots as well, and
yeah.
that's how you'd score it.
I mean, when I was watching the fight, obviously, look, you're on WhatsApp. I was even texting you. I was texting Camille, was all texting each other and stuff like that. But it did look like Beterbiev's ring generalship kind of dominated that fight. Do you think, like, I mean, you're a pro fighter. You've been in fights. Does that kind of sway the judges on how they're scoring the fight? If you're constantly on the back foot, which Bivol was, however, he was letting shots go. It's not like just going backwards and not doing anything. He was letting shots go, letting his jab go and stuff like that. And he will hit, you know, you'll get trapped. You think like he's trapped and you let combinations go. And you look good. Like, wow, I'm like, whoa, that's really good. But it looks like the judges kind of scored it for Beterbiev because of that ring generalship. How much does ring generalship actually play in the mind of the judges when they're scoring a boxing fight?
So I think the general public don't really understand ring generalship
Yeah,
to the point where they think ring generalship is always going forwards.
yeah,
That's not the case. Sometimes you could be going backwards but still be in control. You could be
yeah,
trying to walk them onto a shot.
yeah.
And I think Bivol did show instances of that, but I'd say overall Beterbiev did have the ring control. But you can't say somebody's winning a fight off ring control if they're coming forward and getting caught
Exactly.
because they're playing into the other person's hands. So yeah, I think Beterbiev had very, very good ring generalship, especially in rounds 11 and 12. We saw Bivol basically running around the ring, but I do think that early on, I'd say I would have put Bivol in control where he was walking Beterbiev onto the shots, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What did you ask Cody? What I gave Bivol the first 4 rounds.
hmm
Is that how you scored it?
I gave him the first three and gave the
First
fourth
three
to
rounds.
Beterbiev, yeah. But again, the rounds are very, very close. I think Bivol had the better work in spurts, but Beterbiev had the more consistent work over the course of a round. And that's where I felt it went.
Does that 16-12 scorecard by one of the judges? Did that surprise you? Or you said it was 2 rounds in it to
Yeah, so
Beterbiev, and is
people
that a big surprise though?
people like to say like, "Oh my God, like this
16-12.
scorecard's terrible."
Yeah,
But if it was 118, 110, then we're talking terrible. Do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
But actually, if you've only won by 2 rounds, the other person's only won 4 rounds. Do you know what I mean? So 116, 112 isn't crazy. You can make an argument for up to that for Beterbiev.
yeah.
Maybe if you're being a bit kind to him, but you still can make an argument for him.
Yeah, because me personally, I had Beaver in front going into the 11th and 12th.
hmm
And I thought, in my mind, as I was watching that, I'm like, Beterbiev needs either a knockout or knockdown.
hmm
He needs to do something so dramatic to kind of make everyone say, whoa. Do you know what I mean? And kind of make the judges look at that fight in a different light. To be fair to Beterbiev, yeah, round 11 and 12, he put the pressure on, applied it, hunting down Bivol. And Bivol, I feel like, I don't think he should have lost the fight. I think it's a draw. But I think where he might have lost it, where I understand where the judges are coming from, the championship rounds are so vital in boxing. 11 and 12, you're retrieving, bro. Like
hmm
and not just retrieving, you're running.
Yeah,
Beterbiev's coming forward. Coming forward, he stopped doing what you just said, what he was doing in the earlier runs, retrieving smartly and still letting shots. This time, literally, hands up, retrieving. Beterbiev's coming in, little uppercuts, little punches. You think like it's nothing, but then when we see Bivol's face at the end of the fight, it was marked up. So
mm,
those punches were doing something, right?
yeah, definitely.
Why
I
did it?
think
But I don't know. You're a boxer. You're a pro boxer. Like, what goes in? What goes on in the mind of a boxer? Championship rounds, you're potentially winning, your corner's telling you you're winning. Why would you retrieve that much and let the guy gain so much of an advantage in the last 2 rounds when it's close?
I think, to be honest with you, that staying on his feet on its own was a victory for Bivol because he's in there with Artur Beterbiev. I think he was 20-0, 20 knockouts, if I'm correct. Nobody's ever seen the final bell of him apart
Yeah,
from Dimitri Bivol. And I think when it sort of got to the later rounds, Bivol kind of thought, you know what, I don't want to take any risks. I want to go high hands. I want to move around the ring. I don't want to let him catch me because if he catches me, then it's game over. So I think staying on his feet on its own was a moral victory for Dimitri Bivol, which sounds crazy to say.
Yeah, that sounds crazy,
It does
man.
sound
That
crazy to
sounds
say,
crazy, man.
but just from the way he's talking after, he's saying like, "Oh, I'm happy, like, I didn't box perfect, but I boxed okay." It kind of tells me that he was just happy to get through it, as opposed to actually wanting to win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's one of them ones where, look, I've got this far, mate, don't risk it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to go on my shield
100%,
here. Like most
100%.
boxers said, let me go on my shield. Biv was like, listen, I'm probably winning. He probably thought I'm winning by 4 rounds.
That's what he
Do you know
thought.
what I mean?
That's
I
what he
can
thought.
afford to let 2 rounds go.
Mhm.
But, mate, I'm still surprised an elite fighter like him will make that mistake. And I'm sure if they do run it back, it's not if, it's when they run it back, because I'm sure that's going to happen. He's not going to make that same mistake, is it?
Yeah, they've got to look internally, his team and that. They've got to think, right, was he given the right advice?
Yeah.
Was he really given the full picture through 10? Because obviously you get back to the corner and you ask, how am I doing? How am I doing? Am I winning? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get back to the corner and your corner goes, yep, lovely. You've won every single round so far. Go out last two and just survive. Then that's what you're going to do, obviously, because you think you're right in front. But if the corner's truthful when they say, look, I think you're winning, but it's close. I need you to go out for this last 2 rounds and give it everything you've got. Then you might not come out like that. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. Quick one here. I don't want to, ramble on about it, but I've got some quick numbers here. Out of the two fighters, Beterbiev threw the most punches, over 1,000 punches in that fight. Even at 39 years old, the guy's still throwing volumes, which is so impressive. Bivol, the younger guy, threw half of the punches that Beterbiev threw at 585. What's interesting is, because look, numbers, they mean something and they don't at the same time. But Bivol actually landed the high impact punches. Bivol landed 48, Beterbiev landed 23. How did you see like? Did you score it like that? Like, did you feel like watching the fight? Do you feel like Bivol was on the harder punches?
So I feel like Bivol had the much cleaner work,
Yeah,
When Bivol was landing, it was knocking out Berbiev's head back, it
yeah,
was landing clean. When Beterbiev was landing, it was kind of grazing off the gloves, maybe coming in between the gloves,
yeah,
but it wasn't really knocking Bivol's head back the same way that Berbiev's head was getting knocked back. And I'm guessing that's what they look at when they're looking at these shots and they're counting the landed shots
yeah,
and the high impact and all of that. They're looking whether it lands cleanly or not. Like as I said earlier, I feel like Bivol had to clean the work and Beterbiev had the more consistent work. And I
yeah,
think it really, really shows in the numbers when you're looking at, all right, he had 48 high impact shots.
yeah.
Cool. They knocked his head back. But how many of Beterbiev shots that didn't get a count actually were high impact but didn't look so high impact? Do you know what I mean?
That's true, because the way Beterbiev does throw his punches, you will think like he's not doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
but because of that constant pressure and he's cutting off the ring,
Mm-hmm.
mentally you're just exhausted, isn't it? And I think you said something about Bivol being a moral victory for him not getting knocked out. I feel you're right on that, because I feel like he was so exhausted. He's thinking, bro, like, I'm all right here. Do you know what I mean? I'm winning. I'm 4 rounds up. I'm just gonna chill here. I'm gonna defend myself, keep a high guard up, and yeah, I'm not gonna get knocked out by this guy. But what do you think? There's a lot of shit going on online. People saying, screaming robbery.
People love that, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people saying, oh, I even heard some people say, oh, Beterbiev only won because he was in a Muslim country. I'm like, yo, what's next? Like, do you know? Like, it's crazy. Even Eddie Hearn, one of the top promoters that I actually like as well, he came out saying it's robbery and this and that. Like, why is it that these days, like, you're a boxer, you've seen robbery, you know what a robbery looks like, yeah? Even me, I know what a robbery looks like. I've seen some outrageous scorecards in boxing in the past. Robbery, really? Can't we just appreciate these two grandmasters going at it?
Yeah, I think if you woke up on Sunday morning,
Yeah,
didn't watch the fight, you watched the 3 minute highlight video that was uploaded to
is it the
BT
zone or
Sport
something?
Boxing,
Yeah,
TNT Sport Boxing,
yeah,
sorry. You watched the 3 minute highlight video, you'd be like, fucking hell, Bill was smashing him because he
yeah,
did have the more eye-catching work.
yeah, true.
But when you watch the fight as a whole, Beterbiev had the much more consistent work, which ended up to him winning more rounds. I actually had it a draw.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, but I can see where they're coming from up to 116, 112 Beterbiev.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think I don't see no robbery. I don't see, I think that's a bit desperate overreaction. I feel like us as boxing fans, we should just appreciate two elite fighters coming together. Look, when two world-class fighters like this come together, it's gonna be a fight of small margins, isn't it?
Yeah,
And that's exactly
it
what it
is.
was, man. And we should just appreciate the fact that we're seeing the big fights now. Do you know what I
100%.
mean? The best go against the best. In the past, we missed out on who? Mayweather Pacquiao at their best. We missed out on Joshua Wilder. Do you know what I mean? Now we're actually getting the best going against the best, and one of them is gonna lose, isn't it? It's just
Yeah, it's just the way it goes. It's just
yeah,
the way it goes. And I watched the Dimitri Bivol interview the other day, and
yeah,
he said losing is a state of mind, and I agree with that 100%. If he's beating himself up and saying you're a loser, you lost in his head, then it's going to get to him. But
yeah,
if he just accepts it and can move on, move forward, you know what I mean? Look at what's next, maybe a rematch, maybe
yeah,
another fight. Then that's how he'll improve and learn. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Talking about improving and learning. Look, Bivol very humble in defeat. I think he came out with something. I think you said it. He said that Canelo punches harder than, in
Yeah,
terms of a single punch, Canelo is a harder puncher than Beterbiev. What did you think of those comments by Bivol?
they have a very different punching style, I'd say,
Yeah.
Beterbiev and Canelo.
Can you
So.
just explain, as a boxer, can you
Mhm.
explain what Bivol means by that?
Yeah, so Canelo
Yeah,
will go touch, touch, boom,
yeah,
touch, touch,
boom,
boom. Do you know what I mean? So he used to touches to set up a big shot, right?
yeah,
But it's a single big shot. Beterbiev's a bit different. Beterbiev goes touch, touch, he does a few touches, and then it's boom, 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 boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
They're
boom.
all hurting
So
you.
it's consistent with the
Yeah,
power. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like he's throwing three touches and one big shot.
yeah,
He's throwing three touches and he's throwing three consistently hard shots. And obviously, if you're putting everything into one punch, then you're going to probably punch harder.
yeah.
But Beterbiev has the more consistent punching, and that combined with consistent pressure and the higher work rate is why he really, really puts so much pressure on his opponents.
Yeah, that's true, man. So Beterbiev came up on top. New undisputed king at light heavyweight. First time someone's done it to over 25 years. I think Roy Jones was the last man to hold all the belts at that division. If Bivol was to, they're gonna run it back. That's for sure. When they do run it back, we're looking at probably next year, May or whatever, Riyad season. What type of improvements do you see Bivol making, and how can Beterbiev counter that?
So the improvements I see him making
Yeah,
aren't the improvements I think he should make. So he says he needed to move more, he didn't move enough.
yeah.
I disagree with that statement. I think he moved too much. And I think his
Okay.
best work was when he was holding his feet, letting his shots go, putting them together, fours, five, sixes, even seven shots. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? But he was putting them together and it was kind of stunning out a bit at BF. Do you know what I mean?
it was. Yeah,
It was too much volume for him,
yeah,
too much speed. But he said he needed to move more in his interview yesterday, which kind of tells me that the story's going to be the same next time or even worse with Bivol, which I don't want to see, but it's boxing. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Because the thing is, Beterbiev is 39. By the time they probably meet in a ring again, he's going to be 40. He's not getting, he's slowing down a bit. Even in this fight, I noticed, even though he was applying the pressure, he's not the same when I saw him against Callum Smith or
Yeah,
Anthony Yard. He was a bit slower in letting his shots go. I don't know. Was he just hesitant? Is it a fact that we should show more respect to Bivol? Is it like, is it a case of my opponent, like, he's world class and I don't want to make a mistake here because I'll get
yeah,
punished?
yeah. I'd say it's more that than
Yeah,
anything physical. I'd say that Bivol sometimes was shocking him with the speed.
yeah,
Catching him four, five, six, sevens. And they were landing clean, and I think Beterbiev was a bit taken aback by that because it's almost like, look, I'm Art Beterbiev. How can you do that to me? Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's why it slowed him down. I think he lives a very clean lifestyle
yeah.
by looks of things, and I don't think he
Who,
struggles to make the
Beterbiev?
weight. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Beterbiev.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Muslim, devoted Muslim.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's a very devout
yeah,
Muslim. Do you know what I mean? So I
yeah,
think his biological age probably isn't as old as his
yeah. It's probably
actual
like
age. If that makes
32 or
sense.
something, innit?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I mean. That's what I mean. And he's one of those fighters. He's always going to be strong. Your punching power is the last thing to go. So he's going to be strong, and he's probably going to have conditioning for the rest of his career as well. So I'd say he'd probably be able to go on for a little while longer.
yeah. Just two more questions on this, and I'm gonna say, um, the first question is, where now? Obviously, the dust are settled. We know who's the king at light heavyweight. Where'd you rank these two guys? Even Bivol, even with a loss, where'd you rank these guys in terms of the history of the light heavyweight division? And if when they do rematch, who do you see winning a rematch?
So in terms of history of the light heavyweight
Yeah,
division, obviously that Artur Beterbiev is the first man to hold 4 belts in
yeah.
the light heavyweight division. You know, Roy Jones did become undisputed, but it was in the 3 belt era.
Okay, yeah.
So actually, he's
This
the
the four
first in the
belt
four
era.
belt era.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So you know, you'd say that makes him the best, but really and truly, it's hard to say because all the other heavyweights had great dance partners.
Mm,
You know, Roy Jones had James Toney, then Joe Calzaghe obviously fought Roy Jones,
yeah.
Bernard Hopkins. You know what I mean? They've all got each other to fight, but these two just smashed through their competition. To be honest with you,
But do you think how do you think they would have fared in that era with Roy Jones and Tony and Calzaghe and Hopkins and all them guys that I think they'll still compete, you know.
they would have
Might
been a
not be at
great
the
fight.
top, but they'll give them tough fights. They'll
They would
still
have
be
been great
good.
fights. They would have
Yeah.
been great fights, but it's very, very hard to rank them like that because the only good, or not the only good people, because you have to give all the fighters credit, but the only elite people that they fought is
Yeah.
each other.
Is each other true?
So, you know, you never know whether Beterbiev would be too strong for Roy Jones or Roy Jones would be too sharp for him. And, you know, you never know whether Bivol will be able to outbox James Toney using his feet, whether James Toney would have had 2 clever defenses and head movement and things like that. So, you know, it's a lot of what ifs. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And the last question was on this: who wins a rematch?
I'd have to lean towards Beterbiev. You know,
Yeah.
I did lean towards Bivol coming into this fight,
Yeah.
and I did genuinely believe it was a draw if I was scoring it fairly.
Yeah.
However, you know, I can see going 116, 112 Beterbiev, you know, I can see that, and that's not robbery. So yeah, I'll probably lean towards Beterbiev purely because of Bivol's comments that he needed to move more.
Yeah.
And I think the movement was actually what was doing him out of the win, if
Yeah.
that
Because
makes
when he
sense.
stood and banged, he looked good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's not so much standing and banging as well. Like it's where he's throwing a lot of volume and he's
Yeah.
throwing it all long. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard to catch someone when they're throwing that. The only
Yeah.
way to really deal with that is step out and reset. Do you
And
know what I mean?
reset.
Which will force better to reset, which will buy him time, which will be able to get his he'd obviously be able to breathe and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Slow the pace down a little bit. But if you just move with someone like Beterbiev, he just cut you off and the momentum would just shift in his favour, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what? In terms of who's gonna win the rematch, for me, I'm gonna sit on the fence on that. I sat on the fence on this one, and I'll carry on sitting on the fence. I just like these guys. I just feel like I just find them fascinating. Both contrasting styles.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If I was gonna be a boxer, these are the two styles that I want to have. Do you know what I mean? Or somewhere in the middle. Um, yeah, let us know down in the comments who you think won that fight, and yeah, man, let us know also who you think is gonna win the rematch. Moving on, let's look at some of the undercards. We had the British heavyweight clash: Fabio Wardley versus Fraser Clark. Their first meeting in March was a draw, absolutely classic. Do you know what I mean? Back and forth. It was a crazy one, like blood everywhere. And coming into this rematch, we all thought, you know what, we're gonna get the same treatment. Both
Mm.
guys are tough, great chins. They can take a punch, they can throw a punch. And we thought, you know what, we're in for another war in Riyadh here tonight. My God, we was wrong. Like Fabio Wardley, man, he's a problem, bro. Like, what do you
Yeah.
think of that knockout, man? That was devastating.
Yeah, it was a mad knockout, and you know, they gave they gave a Ben Davison fighter
Yeah.
the worst toy they could have given him, and that's film. Do you know what I mean?
Ah,
Obviously, Lee Wiley's who does the film over
yeah.
there, but they're very, very good at film studying.
Okay.
So, you know, even like we've seen the little clips on Instagram that's been going about of Fabio Wardley pulling Fraser Clark's
Yeah,
arm.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, obviously that's come from the film study. You know, obviously the game plan was, I would have said, Wardley started out establishing his jab and smothering any attacks by Clark.
yeah,
You know, that's a huge thing over there at Ben Davison Performance Centre. You know, they like to stifle your work, smother. You know, obviously it's heavyweight boxing as well. So Wardley found the shot.
yeah.
Um, Clark does a good job. He stays composed, and then he catches Wardley and rushes in.
Mm.
Gets caught rushing in. Looks at the ref to say like, ref break. Gets it
Big
on the
mistake,
break.
innit? Don't
Massive
ever look at
mistake.
the rest.
Never ever. Even in the amateurs, like obviously the amateurs when they say break, you have got to step back.
Yeah,
But in the pros especially, fight until they say stop, because you got to protect yourself at all times. Do you know what I mean? They don't tell you protect yourself at all times so much in the amateurs, but that was a problem with Ben Whitaker as well. We're looking at top amateurs. That was a problem with Ben Whitaker as well. You know, the ref is a pro. The ref's there to be seen, but not interfered. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the best refs are the ones that don't interfere. And you know, to look at a ref, the ref's not going to save you. You've got to, do you know what I mean? You've got to
Yeah,
fight your
protect
way out.
yourself at all
Yeah,
times, yeah.
yeah,
Obviously, that was probably the worst knockout I've ever seen in my life. I've seen people laid out flat, stretched out, hospital and everything like that. But the way Fraser Clark like got knocked out, and for a moment there, you know, and I don't want to downplay this. You know, I've spoken to you about this already. It looked like he suffered a stroke there, like a
yeah.
little mini stroke. Like I was really worried, and I was saying, like, if I was like a family member, I'll be like, oh my god, please no. Like, do you know what I mean? Because we want to see fighters get in a ring and come out healthy. We don't want to see him get spoon fed for the rest of their life. But that knockout was so devastating. It looked so scary.
Hmm.
Fraser Clark is now out of hospital. He's back in the UK. He's had surgery and all that. So apparently he's fine from what we're hearing. But going forward, he's 33 years old. He's had, what, 9 fights now as a pro,
Hmm.
long amateur career. With that type of injury that he sustained where, you know, I think he broke his jaw in 2 places.
Yeah, it looked
You know, the
horrendous.
side of the head was caved in. 33 years old, suffering that type of defeat there in the devastating manner that he was. Do you see him coming back from that?
I hope he proves me wrong,
Yeah,
and I really do hope he proves me wrong.
yeah,
But
we do, yeah.
I don't think we'll see him back. You know, um, I don't know about you, but I've never seen anybody's cheek broke that
No,
much,
yeah,
so
nah.
their jaw looks skewed. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
his jaw looked down to one
Down,
side,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
means that there's something badly broken in
yeah,
there. And you think that's going to take at least a year to get back to even to be able to train again. Do you
yeah,
know
to
what I mean?
train, yeah.
To like to be able to obviously get rounds in, spar, train. You know, yeah, it's gonna be a tough injury to heal, you know. By that time he's 34. By
Yeah,
the time he gets in the ring, he might even be 35, you know. You're looking at sort of the back end of his career, and then really, if he does manage to come back at 35, you know, 9 pro fights, what has he got to do from there, you know? I hope he finds a future in whatever he does,
yeah.
but I don't believe he can get back in the ring.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. And look, I wish Fraser Clark all the best, but it feels like in the lower weight divisions, like your divisions and stuff, I'll be like, okay, that's all right, you know, like maybe, but heavyweight division, man, he can go back
Yeah,
in there. It doesn't matter who you get in with in the heavyweight division. It could be the 100th ranked guy in the world, but they can still crack.
yeah, they're big men.
They're
They're big
big
men.
guys, man. Like one of them punches there on the same, and they're gonna be targeting that same
Yeah,
area.
100%.
That,
It's a blood
yeah,
sport at the end of the day, you know. Yeah, they're big men, you know, like when they hit each other, they hurt each other. And yeah, I can't see it. I
yeah,
can't see it
no,
coming. And, you know, if I was around Fraser Clark, I'd probably advise him, you know, kind of look at what you've done from boxing so far, you know, maybe go do some talks in schools, maybe buy a few properties with whatever purses you've made, you know, things like that, because obviously this game doesn't last forever, and I think that is the end of the road for him.
yeah. I think we're not just looking at the physical side of it; we're looking at the mental
Hmm.
side of it because
Hmm.
that film's there in it. It's everywhere. It's on the internet. You know, thank God no one's doing any memes of it. But I'm sure if he was to ever get back in the ring, some idiot out there will.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
we're looking at, and boxing, as you know, is what is it? They say, I don't know, 90% mental warfare, whatever it
Hmm.
is, 10% physical. So from a mental aspect of it is a long road back for him.
It
Because he's a
is.
proud man, isn't he? Like he's got pride and everything like that as a boxer, man.
Yeah, it is a tough one to come back from as
Mm.
well. And when you've been caught with a shot like that, that's literally disfigured your face. I don't know whether you'll be able to even have the confidence to step back in and
Yeah,
actually assert yourself, or you just get back in and kind of roll over because once you've had that damage done to you once, you won't want it being done again.
exactly. Exactly. So listen, man, we're gonna move on. But Fraser Clark, listen, we wish you all the best. Everyone here, Rumbles Boxing Academy, man. We really hope for you, for your sake, your family, you know, have a speedy recovery. And we want to see you back in the ring, but I'm sure you, your team, your family, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna come to the best conclusion for you. Your health is number one priority. We want to see you fight, but your health comes first. So get well soon, brother. And yeah, man, hopefully we see you back in a ring soon, man. But let's move on. Our final fight that I wanted to cover. I don't know if I should call it WWE or whatever, because that's what it was. Chris Eubank Jr. was back in the ring for the first time in 12 months since he knocked out, was he knocked out? Yeah, TKO win over Liam Smith. Great win for him, actually. I was actually impressed by that fight, especially after he got knocked out clean on the first one.
Yeah.
So when he came back against the Polish guy, I think it's Zeremeta.
Zeremeta, that's
Yeah,
it.
Zeremeta. You've heard of him. Obviously, I don't watch enough boxing because I haven't. But apparently, he's had some decent fights against Golovkin
Yeah,
and
he fought Golovkin, you
for
know.
Golovkin and stuff. So yeah, I mean, look, clinical performance by Eubank. Knocked him down like 4 times, and then the referee kind of said, you know, you've had enough. You lost 7 rounds, and we don't want to see no more. Uh, would I say I learned something from the fight? Not really, because just the level of opponent. Yeah, every boxing fight is tough. We know that, but we haven't really seen Eubank in there with an elite guy. So in terms of where his career is, performance-wise and everything like that, me personally, I didn't learn too much from that fight. I don't know if you did. Um, After that, what's his name? Actually, you know what? Tell me about his performance. What did you think of the performance first
He
before I
looked
move on to the
very
next one?
he looked very sharp coming out, you
Yeah.
know, looked very Roy Jones-esque, you know, obviously with the lower hands, that sort of style.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about that sort of style was he didn't really have any glove defenses, you know, so he was coming out in straight lines with his chin out, and he was getting caught from there, you know. He was being forced to slip and pull a lot of the jabs where he would have had an easier option just catching them with his glove, you know, and then he still got the slips and pulls there. But you know, overall it was a good performance, but I think there are holes in his game that need fixing.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. What's his name? Conor Ben, after the fight, jumped into the ring. Now, I don't know if this was pre-planned. It looked quite staged. They had Neymar Jr., the footballer, who now plays in Saudi Arabia himself. He was like in the middle of them two, like kind of playing a mediator, whatever it was, but it definitely looked like a photo op. WWE, it got a bit crazy. Conor Ben was saying, listen, I'll smash you up, you're rubbish. And then Chris Eubank Jr. was like, yo, sign the contract, let's get this fight on, stop bitching and moaning, blah, 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 whatever. Conor Ben still hasn't cleared his name with the British Boxing Board of Control. He's been cleared by VADA, which I've heard, so he's been able to box around the world. Like his last fight was in Miami, Florida. He's able to do that, but he can't officially box in the UK. So he needs to get in front of that panel, clear his names, whether he had something on them eggs, we don't know. He had 50, 100 eggs. Me, myself, I love eggs, so I hope no one's coming to test me, bro, because I don't know what they'll find.
If they test you, they won't find any clomiphene, that's for sure.
So that's crazy. So listen, quarterback, yeah. Let's say in an ideal world, he clears his name. Yeah, these two guys can fight in the UK. We already know they'll do 95,000 at Wembley, 85,000 at Wembley. How do you see that fight going, and which weight class do you think these two guys should fight on? Because we've been waiting a long time now.
In favour of Conor Ben,
Conor Ben, yeah,
154.
154.
In
Okay.
favour of Eubank, 160 and above. You know,
160
I
and
think
above,
I think Eubank needs the weight to be able to rehydrate fully
Yeah.
and step into the ring safely. You know, I don't think his team should let him fight 154, but money talks, and if they do offer him a good enough purse to fight at 154, he might take it.
He
Who
might
knows?
take it, innit?
Yeah.
But he look dead though.
Yeah, he will do. He will
These
do.
guys
And
fought
he's
a
already
super
lean.
middleweight,
Yeah, he's already lean
168.
as well. He's already lean. So I don't think that fight really goes with the weight. You know, I think it'd be silly of Ben to take it above 160 or
Innit?
160, and I think it would be silly of Eubank to take it at anything below 160.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can't really see the fight happening. If it does happen, then cool. But at the moment, it just seems like Ben trying to keep himself in the spotlight.
That's true. I mean, I look at these two fighters, I'm like, yo, at this stage in their career, they need each other. Because I feel like both of their careers kind of they're stolen, like where they're not going nowhere. Chris Eubank doesn't seem to get the public acknowledgement. Conor Ben struggling with the test results, whatever. I'm like, you need each other because I just
Yeah.
feel like Chris Eubank, no one likes him, man. I don't know. Do you get that feeling as well that no one likes Chris Eubank Chris Eubank Jr. And I don't know why. Because is it because like he comes from like a rich family?
Yeah, I think he's never really had that. he's never really had that struggle story that people love. You know,
Is that what
he
it's
hasn't.
about? That hardship, like boxing
Yeah,
is a working class type of sport. We want to
mhm,
see you graft and really make it. And people are
yeah.
looking at him like, yo, you was rich, bro. Like, what are you
Yeah,
talking about?
people look at him like, oh, you grew up in a nice mansion, you
Yeah.
know, your dad had this many cars, you know, you had this, you had that growing up, you haven't had to go through hardship, you're only here because of your dad's name, and whether or not that's true is a different story, but I
Yeah.
think that's the image that the British public have got of him. And on top of that, you know, he can come across as quite arrogant, you know,
Hmm.
and he's never been afraid to be the bad guy, you
Yeah.
know. He's always he doesn't care about being the bad guy to sell a fight, which does put bombs on seats, but at the same time, it kind of makes your public opinion go down.
Yeah.
So it's a trade-off. But yeah, I don't think he'll ever really get that love from the public that they have for his father.
Yeah. And at 35 years old, I mean, he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's running
Mhm,
out of time in it to get those elite fights. And he was rumored to fight Canelo. Apparently, turned that down.
mhm.
He was offered a contract by who's that guy that fought the Anthony Joshua card? The tall guy, Hamza something. Is it Hamza?
Hamza Shiraz.
Is that him? The
Yeah,
tall guy, the long rangy guy.
yeah. Shiraz writes him off,
Yeah, so they
and
offered
Shiraz
him
is
that fight.
different.
Apparently, Chris Jr. said, "Hey, no, not yet. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna fight him yet." Do you see that being a good fight? Do you see that selling tickets?
I say Shiraz writes him off.
Shiro Ishimov, yeah.
Yeah,
At this
Shiraz
stage,
has unbelievable power. I mean, I
that
watched him
range as
live.
well, man.
I
Damn.
watched him live at the Copper Box
Yeah,
against Liam Smith and oh no, not Liam Smith,
not
sorry,
Liam Smith.
Liam Williams,
Yeah.
and his power is unbelievable. I mean, he touches them with a jab and they get hurt. Do you know what I mean?
Is it a real deal? I haven't really followed this
Yeah,
guy.
he's
Tell
the
me
real
more. Is
deal.
he
He's
what
the real
long
deal.
amateur background or is it just
He
come
didn't
straight?
do a lot as an amateur, to be
Yeah,
fair. Yeah, I heard he was kind of just average as an amateur. You know,
yeah,
obviously he's excelled as a pro. He's gone out to America, trained at Ten Goose Boxing Gym. Um, you know, he's really come into it as a pro. But I think he's the real deal. Honestly, I've seen him live and I've seen him on TV. You know, against Amo Williams and all of them. I think he's the real deal.
yeah. Just touch on that. Just a quick one. You touched on something about amateurs and pros. Yeah. Why is it that like some fighters they don't excel at amateurs? All of a sudden they turn pro and all of a sudden they're the real deal. Oh, they had a really great amateur pedigree. They turn to the pro and they're not that good. What makes that difference? Is it a mentality thing, a coaching thing, a fighting style? What exactly is it? Because you've made that switch in recent years.
Yeah, it's a bit of everything. You know, the pro game is very different. You
Yeah,
know, and I feel like it's a different rule set.
yeah,
Or not even I feel like I know it's a different rule set. It's a different rule set. It's you know it's obviously longer in duration, so you've got to manage your gas tank a little bit better
okay,
instead of just trying to empty it out.
yeah,
You know they're a little bit more lenient on things like like I know so many dirty tricks as a pro that you would never ever get away with as an
yeah,
amateur. But as a pro, you know they try and let the show go on a little bit if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
So so yeah, it's a big adaptation, you know. What efficiency is very, very important, and a lot of people, you know, obviously we saw it with Ben Whitaker.
yeah. Ben
You know,
Whitaker, yeah.
he's very, very good, but he lacks efficiency. And you know, it's all right for 3 rounds because by the time you get tired, you're gone, you're out. It's fine, you've won on points. But you know, as the time goes on through the fight, the opponent will start to catch up if you lack efficiency. And I think that's probably the main transition.
Yeah, you listening? So if you're at home, you know, prospect boxers, amateurs, you know what I mean? Make sure you take note of what Zach just said. And lastly on that, Ben Whitaker, did he quit or not?
Yeah.
Quit.
Yeah, call it what you want,
Yeah,
but you know he saw his window out and he took it, you know, and that's fair enough, you know. Obviously we had that controversy a couple of months ago, I'd say, or maybe
yeah,
even a year ago. Dubois and Usyk, whether Dubois should have stopped Usyk or not.
yeah,
If
yeah,
the ref started counting and said if you don't get up within 10, you're
yeah.
out the fight, he would have got up. And I think it's the same thing with Whitaker, you know. If the ref said to Whitaker, right, both get back up, or whoever stays in his feet is going to be the winner, then obviously Bentwick could get back up. But he saw his out, you know. He was given a tough night by Liam Cameron, who again, Ben Whitaker probably is the better boxer by far, but it's just that efficiency, you know.
I'm starting to gas.
Ben Whitaker's gas tank's gone from there to there.
Yeah,
Liam Cameron's barely used any
it
energy,
was,
so he's started
yeah,
to catch up
starting
with
to
him,
catch
even though
up.
the
Yeah,
skill gap. But but yeah, so I do think he quit.
Listen, Ben Whittaker, man, listen, I hope you get back in that ring soon. And you have to run it back. I want to see that rematch because, you know, it was a draw, but I want to see you back in there. Last one on the Conor Ben versus Chris Eubank Jr. If Conor Ben clears his name, it's going to happen. Even if he doesn't clear his name, the way, you know, Riyad Season, Turkey Al Sheikh, you know, the way these guys work, they got so much money. They don't need the British Boxing Board of Control. You know, he can get his license from, you know, the Swiss or the French Boxing Federation. So it doesn't really matter. But you see Conor Ben winning that fight, yeah? If they were to meet. It
It
depends
all
on the weight
depends.
class.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on the weight, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'd say that'd be the main factor I'd go for, whether I'd say who wins it.
Yeah.
You know, Conor Ben obviously very, very good at applying pressure, and Chris Eubank obviously does come out in straight lines.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm gonna say? I fancy Conor Ben.
Conor Ben, yeah.
hmm
I don't know. For some reason, I fancy Conor Ben as well.
And I know he's the underdog, but I think he'd just be a bit too ferocious
Yeah.
for Eubank. I don't think Eubank's quite got the defence for it, and I don't think Eubank will have the power to make Ben respect him and keep him off. Do you know what I mean?
I think you're right on that because even Liam Smith, when he let his hands go, when he cornered Chris Eubank Jr. and let his hands go, he caught him, knocked him out. So I think, can you imagine now Conor Ben? My God.
No.
It's gonna be murder. But yeah, that is it for the Riyadh season card. Beterbiev versus Bivol. If we miss anything out, let us know in the comments. And I'm sure me and Zach will be happily, you know, to answer them in the comments. So just pop any questions that you have, you know, anything, just leave it in the comments and me and Zach will try our best to definitely get back to you. Last weekend, you know, you was in Yoko, you was watching
Tyrone King.
yeah, one of our guys, stablemate here, Tyrone King, go for it for the Southern title. Unfortunately, he didn't get the W, he didn't get the win. He was unlucky, but how was the fight, man? How did you score the fight that day, that
Yeah,
night, man?
look, it was a close fight. He
Yeah,
was one round down going into the last round. You know, it was a very, very cagey, technical fight.
yeah,
You know, until the end. You know, it was Tyrone's first 10 rounder, and I mean, shout out to Tyrone
yeah.
because
Shout out
from
to
a guy who
Tyrone.
did literally nothing as an amateur, had a few on license, turned pro. You know, obviously we come from the same town. You know,
Yeah.
Tyrone King's worked his bollocks off to get where he is, and you know, even though he didn't get the win for that title, there'll be more in the future coming for him, surely.
Nah, definitely, man. Listen, big up respect to Tyrone King, and I'm sure he's gonna come back stronger. He sold so many tickets, man. Damn.
Yeah, he done near 250.
Can you tell the people how hard it is to sell tickets? Like, people see Joshua,
Mm.
they see Wilder, they see Fury making 50, 60 million a fight. They think every boxer is doing that around the country.
Yeah.
It's not the case, is it?
No, it's nowhere near the case, especially on the small hall, you know.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's no TV money going
yeah.
into it to pay for your purse, your opponent's purse, etc. So, really, it is hard to sell tickets. But, you know, someone like Tyrone's likable, you know,
Yeah.
people love Tyrone, you know. So, he does it very, very well.
Good. Zach, yeah, man. I'm gonna just any final words were at the end anyway. Do you wanna tell us, you know, anything that you got up and coming, you know, in the next few weeks, next few months, you know, anything you want people to know about to go check out?
All I want to say is
Yeah,
shout out to my sponsors, you know, ATG Plumbing and Heating, Sam Westlake and his two girls, Tiff and Amelia. Luke Blanchard from Mount Contracts, I want to say shout out to him, you know, he's helped me out a lot. Lou from New Stones Designs, he's helped me out a lot. And Kev from KPL Signs, and Empire Fight Store as well.
yeah,
Well,
nah,
yeah, just want to
definitely,
shout
man.
them out.
Listen, shout out to all them old Zach sponsors. They do a lot. People like do not underestimate sponsorship, especially, you know, in the how do I describe it? Like for boxes that you don't see on TV. Do you know what I mean? They rely heavily on sponsorships and people to support them. So yeah, shout out, respect to all the sponsors. This is it, man. This is it for the first episode of the last round from me and Zach, your boy Enzo, Zach Phee. I'm gonna leave all the link in the description. So if you wanna go check out some of Zach's fights, you can just go on his YouTube, which is Zachary Phee. Go check out all his fights. He's 5-0 as a pro. So go check that out. I'm gonna leave the link for all his socials on the description. Go check that out as well. If it's your first time watching, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. You're really gonna help the channel to grow. And yeah, man, me and Zach will be back. We're gonna try our best to at least come once a week?
Yeah, we'll try for the once a week.
Yeah, once a week. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna mix it up a bit. We're gonna have other guests coming on as well. Boxers, not just boxers, you know what I mean? That we'll try and mix it up a bit, make it a bit more interesting. So yeah, man, listen, to everyone who's followed, who's watched the podcast from the start to the finish today, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for showing love. And listen, come back for the next one, man. This was episode 1, but listen, we're gonna be here until episode 1000. So stay tuned. Come back again, man. We'll see you in a bit. Peace.